Hello, welcome back, and I'm looking in the wrong place. I'm so excited to talk to you today about how to find your very first tech internship. I get asked this all the time because I've been hiring technical interns for the past over 3 years now, but also I understand the struggle from personally trying to land my first technical internship. I had many of the obstacles that many people have. I didn't have really great grades. I wasn't in a school co-op program that offered me access to employers, and I also didn't really have any connections through my family or friends. So I understand how hard it is, but I pushed through, and once I found that first technical internship, it made my life so much easier for all the other opportunities that I received in the future. If I did it, I truly believe you can do it too, and I would love to show you how by sharing what I learned along the journey. I'll be doing that by breaking down the video into the 3 biggest mistakes that applicants make when applying to internships. And make sure to stay until the very end because I'll be covering a lot of juicy tips like how to network in this digital age that we're living in, how to find opportunities that no one else is applying to, how to formulate your cold reach out messages for networking, and so much more. And it's all based on my personal experience. I'm not playing with you today, don't you worry. Starting with mistake number 1, not having projects on your resume. All right, folks, listen up. You need relevant experience to get a tech internship. Yeah, I know, I get it. How can I get relevant experience if no one wants to give me any experience until I have experience? I understand. So here's what you gotta do. You gotta make that experience for yourself. There are way too many applicants out there for you to be able to compete with nothing but banquet hall server and volunteer choir lead under your name. I would know. These are the exact titles that I had on my resume when I was getting 0 callbacks for any technical internship roles. So how do you create experience for yourself out of thin air? You create projects, demonstrations of your technical skills that make you look deliciously appetizing. There are 2 categories of projects to get on your resume, and if you can, I suggest you get both on there, but they are personal/side projects and then academic projects. At the very least, you should have at least 1 personal project on your resume. Do not apply to jobs until you have applied your skills in a project. How do you know what kind of project to complete? Well, this is where you have to do some research, and here's how. Step 1, figure out what kind of internship you'd like to have. Step 2, look at all the job postings for that internship that you're interested in and look at the relevant skills that they're looking for. So for example, in the world of data science, it's all about SQL, Python, and machine learning. So you would work on a project that shows that you have these skills. It would be a different list of skills for something like software development or product management. So look at a bunch of postings for the role you're interested in and gather the technical requirements, tools, skills that come up the most. Step 3, you then have to try to fit all of these tools and skills into a project that's both interesting for you to work on and demonstrates your knowledge of them. So to help you get inspired, I have left a link down below with a ton of project ideas, but you could also just Google projects to practice Python or projects for back-end engineering. I don't know, just kind of make a Google search to find projects that are suggested for the specific fields that you're interested in. Now, if you're in a technical program like computer science, math, engineering, physics, or anything related to these disciplines, you could easily find homework assignments that are interesting enough to include as projects on your resume. I was a math student and I had a computer science minor, so I had a few different combinations of projects I would include on my resume depending on the role I was applying for. Some examples are a game that I built for one of my computer science courses, a little Python game, a computational math assignment to do with dynamic programming, and then also a project that I did for one of my probability courses where I applied Markov chains to genetics. So just interesting applications of your technical skills. Once you complete your projects, you have to find a way to share them with the world. Instead of just talking about or describing what you built, give your resume screener the chance to check it out for themselves. At the very least, you should have the code to your project shared somewhere where they can access it, like on GitHub. But it would also be nice to have some kind of output or visual piece related to your project that they can physically look at. By the way, GitHub and Git are preferred skills for most technical internships. So by putting your code on GitHub, you're kind of killing two birds with one stone. And also GitHub has a free web hosting service, GitHub Pages. I'll also link to that in the description below. Finally, it's super important that you clearly describe your projects on your resume in a concise and interesting way. I have an entire video up on how to make a good technical resume, so please check that out for some more juicy tips. So bada bing, bada boom, congratulations, you have some relevant experience. Now that we've talked about putting that experience on your resume, let's talk about how to actually apply to the internships now and the big mistake that people make on that side of things. Mistake number 2 is applying to inaccessible opportunities. What does this mean? It means using the wrong job forums. Most people, when they're looking for a job, the first place they head is something like Indeed, Workopolis, or Monster. And these are the wrong places to look. The reason being is because, well, there's many reasons. But first of all, jobs on these sites receive hundreds and thousands of applicants, so you have a much smaller chance of being considered. Oftentimes, these job postings are out of date, they're expired, or they're only up as a backup for employers in case their preferred recruitment methods fall through. So usually employers will try to hire internally or through referrals, and they'll use the job postings on sites like these as a very last resort. So if you don't have some kind of edge to the job that you're applying to, like maybe you know someone who works at that company, I would avoid job forums like these altogether. So what do you do instead? You try to find niche job forums that have fewer applicants, they're less popular, they're less well known, and they're also more intentful of hiring. I do have a few favorites that I will get to in a second, but before I give you that fish to feed you for a day, I will teach you how to fish to feed you for a lifetime. If you have a pen and paper handy, grab it and take some notes, kids. Sounding like a true 94-year-old today. What do you know? Okay, so how can you find niche job forums like these? Well, my BFF Google is back at it again to help us out with that. Make searches that are specific to what you're looking for. For example, software engineering internship opportunities in Seattle, or remote product management internships in the US or in North America, whatever. Make specific searches like these, and also take advantage of places like Reddit, where you can get the inside scoop from people in the community to share the sources that they've used to find accessible opportunities. Lastly, research companies that you'd be interested in working at and apply directly through their job websites. Try to find companies that would have a smaller pool of applicants applying. You can do this by making a search for something like startups in Seattle or whichever area you're looking to find an internship in. Remote companies are also amazing. There's so many companies that are fully remote now, and they can hire you from anywhere in the world for the most part. So definitely try to find a list of companies that you'd be interested in and then go to their websites, find their career pages, and see what they have on there. Job postings directly on company websites are far more reliable in terms of whether or not your application will actually be looked at. Also, some companies don't post on mass job forums at all, and they'll just exclusively post on their own careers page. As a result, far fewer applicants and a bigger chance of getting your application noticed. Personally, I exclusively apply to job opportunities either directly through company websites or through one of the two job forums, AngelList and LinkedIn. I've talked about them way too many times. I'm still out here with no sponsorship. It's okay, I'll wait patiently. I'll get to talking about how you can use these in a second, but the reason I love these two job forums is because they provide many other tools that allow you to connect with the role that you're applying for or the people involved in it. In other words, they enable networking, which brings me to my third mistake to avoid: not prioritizing networking. We all know networking is the way to get jobs. We hear this time and time again, but I really need to emphasize it because it is so true. Not only did I personally receive most of my interviews and job offers through some form of networking, most other people have in the world too, and there is data to back that up. Several studies have shown that 70 to 85% of jobs are landed through networking. But networking sounds so scary. How are we supposed to network when everything is remote and there's no in-person events? It's a global pandemic. What are we gonna do? Don't worry. Big sis got you. I'll show you that it's easier than you think and definitely not as scary as it sounds. Networking is simply talking to people who can connect you to opportunities. There are many different ways to do this and many different opportunities to meet these types of people. My personal favorite way is through the 2 job forums that I alluded to earlier. So let's finally talk about how to use those for networking. Starting with AngelList. This is a website where startups look to find talent and investors. You can reach out directly to the people associated with the companies with a high chance of getting a reply. And you can also apply to formal job postings that are also up on the website with a quick and simple application process. I found both of my tech internships and most of my interviews and job offers through this website. So I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Now moving on to LinkedIn, it is my only exception to the avoid large job forums rule, and that is because it gives you so many other useful tools for finding your job. With each posting, you can see the number of applicants that have applied, you can see how you stack up compared to them, which skills they have that you don't have. It gives you a better idea of which roles you should waste your time applying to, or sorry, you don't want to waste your time, which roles you should not waste your time applying to. And most importantly, oftentimes it shows the person who posted that role. And what do you do with that person? You network. You find them on LinkedIn, you send them a message to tell them that you're interested in that role, and you ask them for a discovery call. And even if there isn't a job poster associated with the listing, you can use LinkedIn's beautiful search engine to find someone relevant to reach out to about that listing. And every single role that you apply to, you should be reaching out to someone at that company to let them know that you've applied, let them know that you're interested, and asking them to connect in some way. This increases your chances of your application getting looked at astronomically. So who do you reach out to? Either a technical recruiter, a hiring manager, or someone who works on that team. And feel free to message multiple people if you think they could be relevant. For technical recruiter, the search is easy, just technical recruiter plus company name. You'll find them at larger companies. For the hiring manager, try to read the job description carefully and try to find some hints for what the name of the team is. So you would just search company name plus that team name, plus, tech lead or manager or whatever. And same thing goes for teammates. You would just kind of use the position of the internship and try to find someone full-time in that role. So now once you've found the people that you want to reach out to, how do you formulate your message to maximize your chances of getting a reply? I've done this so many times and left on read once or twice, or thousands of times, probably not thousands, but many, many times. But I found that the best approach is to leave a message that is short, genuine, and to the point. Another thing that I've done in rare cases is send a message with a personal story telling the person I'm reaching out to why I'm passionate and excited about their company or that role. Only do this if you have a genuine story that's completely authentic and every word of what you're writing is 100% true. Inauthenticity is visible from a mile away, so use this approach with caution. Before you send out any cold reach out messages like this, whether it's through LinkedIn, AngelList, or something else, make sure you have an up-to-date profile on that platform with all your projects, all your experience ready to go for them to creep you later and like what they see. Now, I do want to touch on 2 more traditional networking methods, which are using your personal connections in your network of family and friends, and also attending networking events. Starting with using your existing network. Reach out to your family and friends, talk to pretty much everyone you know to see if they know anyone who works in the industry, role, or company that you're interested in. Ask them to give you an introduction and have a quick 15-minute discovery call with you where you can ask them about their day-to-day job, how they like it, what they do at their company, and what their internship recruitment strategies look like if they have any open positions. Warm introductions are a much easier way of making sure that you get a reply from the person that you're reaching out to and actually closing the loop and forming that connection. So be sure to try to take advantage of this. Now, if you don't have many connections, which is the boat that I was in, you have to go to networking events to make some for yourself. In this digital age that we're living in, where everything is remote, it opens up so many additional opportunities for networking events that you can go to that we didn't have before. So that is a plus. You can find relevant events to attend on LinkedIn or my personal favorite, meetup.com. So just search for keywords like the title that you're interested in, or like internship events, or any kind of panel discussions, information sessions, or conferences. When you go to these events, listen to the speakers, gather questions about their presentations to ask them, because these are great conversation starters that you can apply when you reach out to them, either during the event, after their talk or whatever, or afterwards on LinkedIn. All right, so those are my biggest mistakes that you should avoid. And now that I've gone through those, I want to give you a few more pro tips. First one is, if you're a student, try to move your schedule around to look for internships in the fall or the winter semesters. These have far fewer applicants applying, so you have a bigger chance of getting a more desirable role. Next, squeeze in as many internships as you can while you're a student. It's much easier to find them as a student because a lot of internships will only accept people who are currently students, so you just have more options available to you. And even if you're not a student, squeeze in as many internships as you can before going into full-time roles. They're a great and unique and rare opportunity to try things out, experiment a bit before committing to something full-time, so you could see what you like to do, see what you don't like to do, and just have a better idea of where you want your career to go without tying yourself down and making any commitments. Also, the more internships you do, the more people you will meet, the more connections you will make, and this will be great for growing your network organically and making it easier to find opportunities in the future. And finally, be open-minded when considering which roles you want to apply to. Any experience is good experience when you're starting from zero. So I encourage you to apply to roles that are outside of what you think your dream job is, because you never know what you're gonna learn. So there you have it, my beautiful coding cuties. That is it for today. Please leave me a comment if you have any feedback or any questions that you're left with, anything you want me to dive deeper into. Please like and subscribe. It means so much to me as such a small baby channel. Good luck in your job hunt. You got this, cutie. Thanks for watching. Bye.